Every government in the world has introduced restrictions to international movement in an effort to contain the COVID-19 pandemic. Starting in late January 2020, the restrictions initially targeted travellers from China, but quickly expanded to other East Asian countries, and to Iran, Italy, and soon to the entire world. How have we as individuals been affected by these measures? Our project, Citizenship, Migration and Mobility in a Pandemic, identifies 4 key trends. As a result of widespread travel bans, many people were left stranded abroad at the start of the pandemic. Some were assisted by the governments of their home countries who organised evacuations and provided other forms of consular assistance. Some states only evacuated their own citizens, others included their families, as well as permanent residents. For example, the evacuation organised by South Korea from the Diamond Princess on the 19th of February included one Japanese spouse. A month later, an evacuation from Iran repatriated 74 South Koreans and 6 Iranian family members. Entry restrictions across the world meant that standard travel documents were no longer sufficient to cross international borders. This change was most strongly felt by citizens of countries in the so-called Global North, who might previously have taken for granted the extensive mobility rights associated with their passports. For example, with a Japanese passport, the number of countries you could travel to without the need for a visa dropped from 117 to just 11 following the 2020 travel restrictions. For South African passport holders, the equivalent change was from 63 to 11. In this way, the pandemic has had an equalising effect on global mobility. Not all individuals have been equally affected by the travel restrictions. Most states made exceptions for certain categories of people, allowing them to continue to cross their borders during the pandemic. These exceptions typically included citizens abroad, permanent residents, and their families. Exceptions were also frequently made for diplomats, medical professionals, and cross-border workers in key sectors, such as agriculture. Conversely, exemptions were generally not granted to asylum seekers, international students, or tourists. Many countries have introduced medical documentation and other requirements as conditions for border entry. Examples include proof of a negative COVID-19 test, medical screening, quarantine, self-isolation, and contact tracing. These measures have increased scrutiny and data surveillance at borders. Members of the police, airline operators, and healthcare professionals are becoming increasingly involved in the management of international mobility. These trends show that while the COVID-19 travel restrictions have been a global phenomenon, their impact on us as individuals has been highly variable, depending on our legal status, our passports, our jobs, and where we live. Our project allows you to further explore the interaction between citizenship, migration, and mobility in the context of the COVID-19 pandemic. For more information and to access our databases, go to our website.